Over 900 years ago, a group traveled up the Crawfish River in south-central Wisconsin in search of a new home. A place to raise their families and grow corn. Perhaps a place to expand or protect trade relations. A place to build a great walled town. Who were these people? Where did they come from? And why did they settle in this place we now call Aztalan? Over 1,000 years ago, a strong, complex society of Native Americans spread throughout eastern North America to the Gulf of Mexico. This civilization, known today as Mississippians, formed a society around religious beliefs which were reflected in their architecture. Some important buildings, built on platform mounds, are interpreted as temples or religious structures. The Mississippians built their civilization around farming.
They practiced maize agriculture, and not just maize, but also beans and squash. They lived in villages with sturdy houses and practiced a way of life with a hierarchical kind of organization.
The center of this society was located in southern Illinois, near the present city of St. Louis. This spectacular city is now called Cahokia. Some archaeologists believe that between 1050 and 1100 AD, a group of Mississippians traveled north from Cahokia, up the Rock River to the Crawfish River, and founded the town now called Aztalan.
The variety of vessel forms that are found, the particular kinds of pottery, is to argue that it's a direct relationship to the Cahokia site itself.
At Aztalan, the Mississippians lived with the late woodland people, perhaps as allies and trading partners. They transformed the village into a Mississippian-style town. Great walls of timber and clay enclosed the town, while interior walls subdivided the village of perhaps 500 people. Besides a central plaza, 3 platform mounds were built as bases for important buildings. A temple to keep the sacred fire burning, a mausoleum for the deceased members of the elite, and the largest mound for the probable residents of the ruling family.
It is a complex site, and this is what I find most interesting about the site, is how people who built Aztalan changed the way the land looked to make it into something that looked right for them. They built those platform mounds to raise themselves up. They built this fence all the way around, and they didn't just do that, then they built interior fences as well.
Decades of archaeological research revealed much about the history of this town and the lives of its people. The first and most extensive excavation occurred in 1919. Samuel Barrett of the Milwaukee Public Museum traced out many of the town's walls and uncovered thousands of artifacts. Between the late 1940s and 1960s, researchers continued with excavations using more modern technology, such as radiocarbon dating. Portions of the mounds were excavated and some walls were reconstructed. They also unearthed outlines and interior features of small but well-built houses. Dr. Lynn Goldstein of Michigan State University has led excavations since the 1970s and discovered new aspects of the town layout, including a food depot with large storage pits arranged in tiers.
We discovered 70 pits that were 2 meters deep and 2 meters across, and that was dug into gravel. And they're lined with mats, and then they sculpted the surface. So think about that, using stone tools and shell. I mean, that's phenomenal. That's a phenomenal thing.
One of the most revealing excavations took place in 1984 in a grown-over ravine along the banks of the Crawfish River, a place used by generations of Aztalan people to dispose of garbage. University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee archaeologist Dr. John Richards led the excavation of the area and found neat layers sealed by time that help trace the history of the town.
The bottom part of the midden, the very dark band that you see that's labeled S11, represents a late woodland deposit. There are no materials in there that would suggest that there were any Mississippian people present at the site at the time this was being deposited. And as we proceeded up through the midden, we could see instances where people were dumping their household garbage, cold ashes from cooking fires, charcoal, broken bits of pottery, the remains of dinners, and filling this area up. But it wasn't until the very top portions of the midden that we recovered the Mississippian pottery.
Bottom line is, guys, 1,000 years ago, this was a busy place. Now, we call Aztalan a place of history and mystery. And one of the big mysteries, after living here for about 250, 300 years, and building this big wall and building these mounds, for some reason, these people abandoned Aztalan. They just up and left.
But many archaeologists believe the answers to these mysteries still lie at Aztalan.
I'd like to see a lot more archaeology done here, and I would like to see archaeology targeted at addressing some of the issues that Aztalan is particularly capable of answering.
The uniqueness and importance of Aztalan in American history led to its designation as a National Historic Landmark. It is Wisconsin's premier archaeological site and is a place greatly respected and valued by contemporary Indian people.
It's important, it's rich, it's a tremendous value that can be given to ourselves as Native American people, young and old, traditional, non-traditional. It's a part of where we came from.
Today, Aztalan is a popular Wisconsin state park that attracts tens of thousands of visitors. The Department of Natural Resources offers regular tours, and the Friends of Aztalan State Park provide many volunteer services, including educational events. The park also offers a unique educational environment for school children to learn more about Native American history.
To make the arrowhead, they didn't have knives back then, so how did they chip the rocks and shape them?
Either with another stone or oftentimes with a deer antler.
Aztalan State Park is open year-round, 1 mile east of Lake Mills, which offers several lodging, dining, and shopping options, and a variety of recreational activities for you to enjoy. It's also surrounded by many historic areas and towns. Come explore the mysteries of America's ancient Indian past at Aztalan State Park.